Thank you so much, and to my buddy Bill from CBS. And I feel like I either know half of the people in the room or I've worked for half of you, but great thanks to the foundation, to Heidi and Jack and Debbie and Mary and all the people who helped all of us get here, and your foundation and the work that you do. Of course, all I'm thinking of, oh my God, all my bad hairdos are going to live in the library, but by the way, shout out over here to Boston College, John. I am a Boston College. And Ed McDonald, the superstar of the movie Goodfellas. Also, Ed, if you could come back and play for our Boston College basketball team, that would be really helpful, since we've won about 2 games in 8 years. But I am so honored to be here to echo David Muir. I don't think any of us as kids grew up thinking, I'm going to be a giant of broadcasting, but congratulations to all the honorees. Peter, long admired you too. So cheers to NBC, about the only place I didn't work. But CBS basically has been my home for most of my career. Thank you, Jen Sabatel, our Vice President of Communications for Sports at CBS. She's been along the ride for decades with me. And thanks to all of you for coming and supporting the foundation. My career, you know, everybody, if you've been in this a while, it's been a Ferris wheel, right? It goes up, it comes down. I will share a couple stories with you, but you might be thinking, why sports? What was it sports for me? And my story was, you know, other kids love poetry or music, but, you know, I love sports. I cared if they moved the runner over, and it was important to me. And it was my mom, who was a teacher. I was about 10 years old, and my mother said to me, honey, what do you think you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a sports writer, which, of course, the job didn't exist for women. But my mother, you know how we can all change children's minds in just a sentence. My mother didn't say, oh, you can't do that, girls don't do that. She said, that's great. Sometimes you have to cross when it says don't walk. And it was, you know, freedom, permission for me to go after it. As Bill mentioned, I wrote for the Boston Globe, which that's when newspapers were cherished, and the Boston Globe was a big, muscular, liberal paper in the Northeast, and they gave me the opportunity to be the first woman to cover the NFL, which wasn't that easy since the credential I wore said no women or children in the press box. It's a little diminishing. And of course, they had no ladies' rooms, right? All the women will understand this. So I used to have to time it. The Patriots then were not the gold standard of the last 20 years. And so, you know, they only usually had 3 downs. So I would have, really, cloud of dust. So I would have to time it. Could I get, when Patriots had the ball 1st and 10 on their own 20, could I get down the press elevator across to the public ladies' room and get back before they punted? And honestly, it was like, you know, I had to be like Usain Bolt, you know, getting back across the field. But I love sports. I think it's one of the great meritocracies in our society. You know, it doesn't matter where your mother went to college or how much money your father has. You can't buy a starting job on the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe for you Jet fans, you might look into that, because it is not happening. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Joe Namath is not walking through that door. To quote my old buddy Rick Pitino. I've had wonderful moments. I think I've covered 40 Final Fours, and that to me, March Madness to me is really what pulls America in. It's one of the things that is not political, and it probably everybody here has wonderful memories of some moments in the NCAA tournament. But I'll share an embarrassing story with you, and then I'll share one that was profound for me. Usually when I ask the audience, do you want to hear my embarrassing moments or my profound moments? It's like 99-1. So, okay, here's one. When I first started at CBS, I'd covered everything CBS did for the Boston Globe, but I had 0 television experience. I hope you don't recall. I basically looked like I had rigor mortis in the beginning, you know, shoving the microphone at Chris Evert, who'd be mouthing, "What is wrong with you?" But So at the U.S. Open, a young player named Hana Mandlikova, she had come from Prague. By the way, do all you guys know the Ova just means daughter of? Sharapova, Navratilova, this was Hana Mandlikova, and she had a great summer. And so I was covering her on one of the outer courts. CBS had the U.S. Open for years. And Brent Musburger said, let's go out to Lesley Visser, who's with Hana Mandlikova. And I said, Hana, you've had a great summer. To what do you attribute your sudden rise in the rankings? And Hana, did I mention she was from Prague with a really thick accent? Okay, so Hana says to me, well, I think it is my new couch. So I thought, it's kind of weird. You know, maybe she's sleeping better or something. And I said, oh, did you get some new furniture? And she said to me, don't be ridiculous, Billie Jean King, my new coach. That's right. That's right. That's right. So all of you, too, can survive humiliating moments in front of the entire nation. And every year, you have seminars for every big event. Obviously, NBC, you'll have plenty for the Olympics. And, everybody would bring up, oh, remember that time, Lesley? I was like, yeah, thanks a lot. But it's been, I always say this, sports is the ultimate passport because everybody can talk about it. The cab driver or the king can debate if Aaron Judge or Raleigh should have won the MVP. As a lifelong born, bred, and bled Red Sox fan, I would probably not go with Aaron Judge, but cheers to him. The guy is just a brilliant, brilliant talent. But one time, CBS, I've had 3 great bosses at CBS. First was Ted Shaker, was our executive producer. Then so many of you know Sean McManus, you've honored him. He's was just a guiding light for us for more than 20 years. And now we have David Burson, who seamlessly moved into the role. But Ted Shaker sent me to the fall of the Berlin Wall, one of the most important stories of the 20th century. And the reason was because, do most of you remember Katarina Witt? She was, of course, the beautiful face of socialism. And my little slice of the stories were how would sports change in East Germany after the reunification? And so I went through Checkpoint Charlie with a crew, and it was like going, like the opposite of the Wizard of Oz. It went from like color to black and white, and the people were huddled, and the hotels were all crumbling. But Katarina, who basically lived a Western life, but she gave us an interview, and I remember thinking that my dad grew up in Amsterdam. We're not Jewish, but they were all starving, all trying to help each other. And I remember being at the fall of the Berlin Wall, and when I saw people with nothing on their shoulders, maybe some pots and pans. They'd walked from Dresden and Potsdam for a day just to get through the Brandenburg Gate, just to taste freedom. And I said to myself, can we get back, somehow to that message? And I know that sports is just a small picture of a big pie, but I was fortunate, blessed to meet Nelson Mandela, and he said to me, which he said many times, sports has the power to change the world. So I just want to thank all of you, and particularly the foundation, and for what you've brought to this day. And I really hope that we leave knowing that that is one topic that everybody gathers for the Super Bowl, everybody gathers for the Olympics. The World Cup is coming here next summer, and that's something that can help to heal us. So thank you very much. Thank you so much.